30 days ago, I could barely get out of bed without my knees screaming in pain. Today, I just walked up 3 flights of stairs without even thinking about it. The only thing I changed? 1 tablespoon of this golden spice in my morning coffee. But what happened inside my knees shocked even my doctor. I'm not some health guru trying to sell you something. I'm Margaret, 67 years old, and I've been dealing with knee pain for 8 years. Physical therapy, injections, medications, nothing gave me lasting relief. Then my daughter sent me a research study about turmeric that changed everything I thought I knew about joint pain. But here's what nearly derailed the entire experiment. On day 12, something happened that made me want to quit completely. My knees actually got worse. Turns out this is something researchers call the inflammation rebound, and it's actually a sign that the turmeric is working. Most people quit right here, but if you push through. I documented every single day with photos, pain ratings, and mobility tests. I even had my doctor run blood work before and after to measure my inflammation markers. What we discovered wasn't just about my knees. My entire body was changing in ways we never expected. Today, I'm taking you through my complete 30-day journey, including the exact recipe I used, the 3 mistakes that almost ruined everything, and the 1 discovery on day 20 that changed my entire understanding of joint pain. But first, let me show you what my knees looked like on day 1. On day 1, my pain level was consistently 7 out of 10. I couldn't kneel down to pet my cat without using furniture to brace myself. Getting out of my car required planning and often embarrassing little groans that I hoped nobody heard. My doctor had started talking about knee replacement surgery. My inflammation markers were through the roof. My C-reactive protein was 8, 2 microRL, anything above 3. 0 indicates serious inflammation. My SED rate was 45 mmHg when it should be under 20 for someone my age. These numbers don't lie, and they painted a picture of chronic inflammation that was literally destroying my joints. I started with the most basic version, 1 teaspoon of organic turmeric powder stirred into my regular morning coffee. No fancy additions, no expensive supplements, just turmeric and coffee. I chose organic because turmeric can contain heavy metals if not sourced properly. Days 1 to 3. Honestly, nothing. I felt a bit foolish stirring yellow powder into my coffee every morning. Day 4. I noticed my morning stiffness lasted about 10 minutes instead of the usual 30. Day 7. My pain level had dropped from 7 to about 6. Small changes, but I was documenting everything. I almost quit after day 5 because the turmeric was settling at the bottom of my coffee and tasted gritty. I learned you need to stir constantly while drinking, or better yet, blend it for 10 seconds in a small blender. Game changer. Before I show you exactly what happened, tell me in the comments where you're watching from and how long you've been dealing with joint pain. Plus, I'm sharing my complete ebook High Protein, Anti-Inflammatory Meal Plan in the first comment. It's completely free. Day 12 was my worst day in months. My pain shot up to an 8, my knees were more swollen than they'd been in weeks, and I seriously considered throwing in the towel. I called my daughter crying, convinced this turmeric thing was making me worse. That's when she sent me a study from the Journal of Medicinal Food. It talked about something called initial inflammatory response. Essentially, when you start reducing chronic inflammation, your body sometimes has a temporary flare-up as it begins to heal. It's like cleaning out an infected wound. It gets worse before it gets better. This is where I made my second mistake and my first breakthrough. Mistake. I tried to double the dose thinking more would work faster. Wrong. It gave me stomach upset. Breakthrough. I added a pinch of black pepper. The research shows that piperine in black pepper increases turmeric absorption by 2,000%. Suddenly, everything changed. 1 teaspoon organic turmeric, tiny pinch of fresh ground black pepper, stirred into 8 ounces of coffee. I also switched to drinking it with a small amount of food because turmeric absorbs better with fat. A little cream or even a piece of toast made a huge difference. By day 15, my pain was down to a 5 for the first time in months. But more importantly, the quality of the pain changed. Instead of that deep, aching throb, it became more of a surface stiffness that responded to gentle movement. Day 20 was when everything clicked. I realized I had gotten up from my chair without thinking about it. For 8 years, every time I stood up required a mental preparation, a little countdown. But that morning, I just stood up naturally. That's when I knew something fundamental had changed. On day 21, I had my inflammation markers retested. My C-reactive protein had dropped from 8.2 to 3. 8 mg/L, still elevated but moving in the right direction. My SED rate was down to 32 mm/HR. My doctor said these were significant improvements for such a short time frame. Around day 18, I noticed my sleep was improving. I wasn't waking up multiple times from knee pain when I rolled over in bed. My energy levels during the day were noticeably better, and my digestion seemed to improve. I later learned turmeric has gastroprotective properties. Day 22, I got cocky and skipped my turmeric coffee because I was running late for an appointment. By afternoon, I could feel the difference. The stiffness was creeping back. This taught me that consistency is absolutely critical. This isn't a quick fix you can skip when convenient. I started testing my knee flexibility with a simple goniometer my physical therapist had given me years ago. Day 16, 110 degrees of bend. Day 20, 125 degrees. Day 23, 135 degrees. Normal range is about 140 degrees, so I was getting close to normal for the first time in years. By day 24, my average pain level was consistently between 3 and 4. But more importantly, I was doing things I hadn't done in years. I knelt down to weed my garden. I carried groceries up the stairs in one trip instead of making multiple trips. I played tag with my grandson without worrying about my knees giving out. What I learned through this process is that knee pain isn't just about the knees. Chronic inflammation affects your entire body. As my knee inflammation reduced, I noticed improvements in energy, mood, sleep, and even my skin. Turmeric wasn't just helping my knees, it was helping my whole system heal. Day 30 blood work was remarkable. C-reactive protein, 1 mg/L, finally in the normal range. SED rate, 18 nm/HR, completely normal for my age. My doctor said these were some of the most dramatic improvements he'd seen from a dietary intervention alone. The real test was whether this was sustainable. Some mornings I didn't feel like making the turmeric coffee. Some days I forgot. But I noticed that even missing one day made a difference in how I felt. This taught me that turmeric coffee wasn't just a 30-day experiment. It needed to become a permanent part of my routine. I created my own quality of life scale. Day 1, could barely function independently. Day 30, felt like I had my life back. I was planning activities I'd avoided for years. Hiking with my husband, playing on the floor with grandchildren, dancing at my nephew's wedding without worrying about my knees. After researching extensively, I learned that turmeric contains curcumin, which is one of the most powerful natural anti-inflammatory compounds discovered. But it's not just about reducing inflammation. Curcumin actually helps modulate your immune system's response to joint damage. Coffee wasn't just a delivery method, it actually enhanced the benefits. Coffee contains chlorogenic acids that have their own anti-inflammatory properties. Together, they create what researchers call synergistic anti-inflammatory action. Plus, the warmth helps increase absorption. My results were dramatic, but I learned that everyone responds differently. Factors like body weight, severity of inflammation, overall diet, and genetics all play a role. Some people see results in days, others need weeks. The key is consistency and patience. I know what some people are thinking. Was this just placebo effect? The blood work says no. You can't fake inflammation markers. The objective measurements of knee flexibility don't lie. The fact that I could document specific physical improvements day by day suggests this was real physiological change. Turmeric isn't magic. If your knee pain is from severe structural damage, torn cartilage, or bone-on-bone arthritis, turmeric alone won't fix that. But if inflammation is contributing to your pain, and it usually is, then turmeric can make a significant difference. I didn't stop working with my doctor. I shared my results with him, and we've integrated this into my overall joint health plan. He's actually started recommending turmeric to other patients based on what he saw with my case. 1 teaspoon organic turmeric powder, tiny pinch of fresh ground black pepper, stirred into 8 to 10 ounces of hot coffee. Drink with a small amount of fat, cream, coconut oil, or with breakfast. Critical: stir constantly while drinking or blend for 10 seconds. Every morning, same time, never skip. I drink it about 30 minutes after waking up, with my breakfast. This timing seems to provide all-day anti-inflammatory benefits. Not all turmeric is created equal. Look for organic, preferably with curcumin content listed on the package. I avoid turmeric from unknown sources due to potential heavy metal contamination. Track your pain daily on a 1-10 scale. Take photos of swollen joints if applicable. Note functional improvements like stairs, getting up from chairs, walking distances. Document everything. The improvements can be subtle day to day but dramatic over weeks. Turmeric can interact with blood thinners, diabetes medications, and some chemotherapy drugs. If you're on any medications, consult your doctor first. I was fortunate to not be on any medications, but safety first always. People with gallstones, bleeding disorders, or scheduled surgeries should avoid therapeutic amounts of turmeric. Pregnant women should stick to culinary amounts only. If you have GERD, start with smaller amounts as turmeric can sometimes increase stomach acid. Don't jump in with large amounts like I did. Start with half a teaspoon for the first week to see how your body responds. Some people experience mild stomach upset initially. 30 days changed my relationship with my body. I went from viewing my knees as broken parts of me to understanding they could heal with the right support. This wasn't just about pain reduction, it was about reclaiming my independence and confidence. The most surprising thing? This was just the beginning. I'm now 6 months in, and my improvements have continued. My knees feel better now than they have in a decade. If you're dealing with joint pain and inflammation, you have nothing to lose by trying this for 30 days. Document everything. Be patient with the process. And remember, healing takes time, but it's possible. What's your current pain level? And how long have you been dealing with joint issues? Share in the comments. I read every single one and often respond personally. If you try this protocol, I'd love to hear about your experience. If this inspired you to take control of your joint health, you might want to watch my follow-up video, where I share the 5 foods that made my inflammation even worse, and how eliminating them accelerated my healing. Remember, your body has an incredible capacity to heal when you give it the right tools. Here's to pain-free days ahead.